Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies? I'm out of here. I like running better. Welcome back, YouTube viewers, to another video. So, I only ever covered Transformers once on this channel. It was my second video, and it was, not very good. But I mean, that's to be expected of someone's second video. And, I'm really excited for Transformers 1 that's coming out pretty soon. I'll be sure to do a review after I see that when it comes out, but for now, that's not what this is about. So, I think it was about last week, a new Transformers cartoon was announced, just out of nowhere. We heard a little bit ago that Earthspark was canceled after season 2, which made me so happy. I really don't like Earthspark. I've got a whole list of complaints for it, but anyway, it said there was going to be something new coming called Transformers Cyberworld. That's it. That's all we got from it. Just a title. A few toy listings too, but just made me think, what would I want from a Transformers cartoon? I've thought of this before, so I thought, why not make a video on it? So, well, this isn't going to go over specifically what I want from this show because we have some kind of vague idea of who the characters might be, judging by those toy listings. But so I'm going to be sort of pitching a show called Transformers Rollout. So first, I have to start with the three inspirations from the previous parts of the franchise. So Transformers Anime is my favorite show of all time. That's what the title of my video on it was called from way back in April. So yeah, that would obviously have to be a big inspiration. Beast Wars, it's Beast Wars. Cyberverse, I really enjoyed Cyberverse. These three, especially, I think, animated and Cyberverse work, or not, animated and Beast Wars especially work because they have a very focused cast. They focus on about 5 or 6 characters per team, and same thing with Prime, which didn't do it as well, but still did it pretty well. But these shows especially did it well because we really get to focus on each character and get a lot out of them. So you really do care about them as individuals, not just as a team. Cyberverse did do a great job with the whole ensemble cast, I will admit, but what I'm more interested in inspiration from Cyberverse is just how it was able to do so many unique things. And say, hey, why not put Rack and Ruin in there? Who knows that nobody really knows them because they're so obscure? Who cares? No, I mean really. The story editor of Cyberverse had an interview where he said that he was told to include any characters he wanted. So he just looked up a list of the weirdest Transformers. That's why you see characters like Repugnus there, which I think is pretty funny. I like the designs there too, but yeah, all three of these shows are just really good. I think there's a lot to pull from them that you could mold along with something new to get something cool. Also, I'm sure Transformers 1 is going to be great. I'm sure I'd probably want something slightly based off that, but I don't even know what that movie is, so I'll just have to wait and see. Then I have to get into the Autobot cast, so naturally I have to have Optimus Prime. But after that is where things get a little tricky. One, I'll say that, well, Bumblebee would probably have to be included. I don't want to use Bumblebee. It's not that I don't like him, but he's there every single time, and I just don't care for him as much as some other characters. And since I want to keep this as a focused cast, I have to be very specific about which characters I want. So Hot Rod is who I want to be the kid appeal character of this show. Hot Rod was really great in Cyberverse. I got to meet his voice actor at TFCon last year. He's really nice. And I just really like his version of Hot Rod. I like to see something like that. And there's also just the fact that I would like to see a better version of Hot Rod's story of becoming Rodimus Prime. This show could probably chronicle him going from just, yeah, the young upstart in the beginning of the show to being Rodimus Prime in the finale. Kind of like Bumblebee in Transformers Prime, except this would actually be a development, not just something that comes out of nowhere at the very end. But still, also, yeah, I just like his design. I don't really have anything else to say, but I'd like, yeah, even though I do the whole he grows into a leader thing, I would keep his personality more of the way it was in Cyberverse. And I also think maybe Ratchet. I don't know. I like Ratchet. And if I do include him, he better be like how he is in animated in Prime, where he's a grouchy old man. I always like that. But Ratchet's just a probably. Then I gotta include Springer and Jazz, guys. Springer, it doesn't really get that much focus in anything. Because even though he's a legacy character, he's from 1986, but he just never really gets to show up because they never really want to put in an Autobot triple changer. He'll get a few new toys here and there, but that's about it. And that's a shame. I really like his design, and I'd like to see his friendship with Hot Rod expanded, kind of as like a brotherly type bond type thing. I think I want to see that. I'd enjoy that. Because they're both the two 1986 characters, so that'd be fun. Then I also got to include Jazz, guys. I mean, come on. Jazz practically never gets any focus. I mean, they specifically chose him out of so many characters to be part of the 2007 movie. And he even had a design that actually looked kind of like his G1 counterpart. But they just kill him off at the end. He only had something like 3 lines. That was a really big shame. So I'd want to bring him back. After all, the one time they tried to bring him back, which was an animated, it never got a fourth season, so we never really got to see him do much. And what we did get to see him do, I like. Jazz is cool. And if we bring him back, Phil Lamar's got to voice him, guys. I mean, come on. That voice was too perfect. But then there's some other characters I might want to include, but I'm not sure. RC, probably. Honestly, I think she might make a good job. Maybe make the main cast have 6 characters. Put her, Hot Rod, and Springer as just, the 3 1986 characters that could kind of bounce off of the 1984 characters, who would be Optimus, Jazz, and maybe Ratchet, but maybe Ironhide or Wheeljack. If we're choosing which versions of these characters I'd like, I really liked Cyberverse Wheeljack. I'd like to see more of him there again because Cyberverse Wheeljack was a lot like G1 Wheeljack. I enjoyed that. His crazy scientist inventor persona was fun. And as for Ironhide, either make him like he was in G1 or make him like he was in the movies. I just use this animated artwork because, yeah, I like Transformers anime. Who could have guessed? Because the movie version, I liked how he was just that. He wasn't old, but he was experienced, even though he didn't have much character because none of the movie Autobots had much character. And I like the G1 version of Ironhide too, though, but I think making him more like he was in anime might be a better bet. I mean, you don't want, even though he's not really a truck, it's probably not a good idea to have 2 red trucks, and I don't know. I might want to include Ironhide, I might not. It's just, despite being a legacy character, he never really gets to show up that much. Then there's the Decepticon cast, so obviously you gotta include Megatron and Starscream. That's a given. Shockwave too. And yes, I'm only using their animated artwork because these are the best versions of these characters. As for their characterization, I'll say this. Megatron, just make him like he was in either animated or Prime. I don't care which one, just make him like that. Starscream, we all know how Starscream is supposed to be characterized. I don't really think I have any issues with that. Shockwave, just make him like he was in, I don't know, animated in Prime? I mean, I do agree with that. It'd be cool if we got something like the Marvel comic where he tried to overthrow Megatron. But we already got Starscream for that, so the Marvel comic did do a good job of having them both be traitors. I think it's better to stick with Loyalist Shockwave. Oh, maybe make him like he was in Cyberverse. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I gotta include Soundwave, who, yeah, Cyberverse Soundwave is easily my favorite version of the character, but I think it might be better to make him, the way Soundwave usually is, like in G1, because I think just trying to copy Cyberverse Soundwave would just be it would just be ripping off such a unique version of the character. I think it's better to just leave alone. I prefer to keep the integrity of that character. The one time Soundwave got to speak in normal sentences, but he still sounded robotic and sounded cool. We saw his connection with Laserbeak, which is really nice. We saw him have actual bonds with other characters. And his whole sacrifice at the end was really surprising and emotional. I really liked it. We gotta include Skywarp too, so yeah. These 3 definitely have to be here, so do these 2, which also means Thundercracker, but we'll get to him later. I want Skywarp to be here. Whenever, they always say that Starscream always gets repainted into Skywarp and Thundercracker, but that isn't really true, and Skywarp always gets the short end of the stick when it comes to the Seekers, but he is my favorite color scheme out of them all. And he's such a cool name, it's Skywarp, but you never get to see him do anything. You gotta put in Skywarp, guys, and give him focus. And there's this one YouTuber, TJ Omega, like a lot of his videos, he said that you need to include Starscream, Skywarp, and Thundercracker as a trio, but make them all different jets, so that way you can release the toys of them all at once, and they can stand out more. Which, yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, same thing goes for Thundercracker. As for what to do with him, I don't know, just keep him the way he, I don't know. I don't, because again, the Seekers aren't exactly the most in-depth characters. I know he is an IDW, but I don't read IDW that much. But I liked him in Cyberverse, but And yes, Knockout is here because I'm thinking maybe we should include Knockout, but I mean, I've already got 6 characters I do want to include, so Knockout might be pushing it a bit, but maybe. I like Knockout. But if you do keep him, yeah, just keep him the way he is in Prime. I mean, there's no reason to change him. Other characters I might want to include. Lugnan Blitzwing. Yeah, I know I don't really want to rip off other shows, but I just want to see Lugnan Blitzwing the way they weren't animated again. They don't have to be exactly the same, but I just like the way they were they were characterized there and their designs too. Lockdown, yeah, definitely got to include Lockdown somewhere. Grimlock, of course, probably their Dinobots as well. Dead End. I loved Dead End in Cyberverse. He's just one of the most D-list characters you could possibly get. I mean, he is a combiner, and he's not even from one of the. He's not even from. It's not like he's from Devastator. He's from. I don't even know what he's from. Uh, Motor Stunticons, I think. Yeah, he's such an obscure character, but they did him so well by just making him this pessimistic loner guy that doesn't really like anyone. Still ends up going along with everything. But you already might have a reddish Autobot or Decepticon sports car in Knockout, so and Knockout's easily the more popular character. So I don't know. Maybe Dead End, maybe Knockout. It could go either way. And then I gotta talk about the toys. So I've accepted we will never get another cartoon toy line like Transformers Animated or Prime or I guess Beast Wars and the Unicron trilogy where we just got regular size classes because back then those were the standard toy line. But nowadays with all this legacy stuff and studio series, they're not gonna make a core, deluxe, Voyager, leader, commander class for the cartoon toy lines. But I am so sick of those lame gimmicky figures. Well, I'm not. Well, I understand they're always gonna make them. I'll follow what TJ Omega already mentioned before said. Do not make those $15 figures and make the $23 figures because it's just confusing. It clogs up the shelves, and if they aren't that much different, then just make the better one. See, I've got the deluxe Shockwave and Bumblebee from Cyberverse. I have the Shockwave. It's really good. I like it a lot, and they even reused it in the Earthspark toy line. They just repainted it. But I think don't just make deluxes. Also make Voyagers, because again, they're not going to go all out for a cartoon toy line like they used to. But at least give them 2 regular size classes. So yeah, animated the Lugnan Grimlocks look really good. Like something like these, that'd be cool. And I gotta talk about the voice actors briefly. I want Peter Cullen back as Optimus Prime as much as the next guy. As long as he can do the voice, as long as he wants to do the voice, let him do the voice. Do not replace him, please. Although, I really wish, I hope, and I'm judging by the trailer that Chris Hemsworth will probably do a good job in Transformers 1, but they should have cast David Kaye. But as for this, I would like to hear Brian Bloom as Optimus Prime. Who did he play? He played Captain America in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. If that voice does not scream Optimus Prime, I do not know what does. As for Hot Rod, yeah, Travis Arts from Cyberverse. I don't know, other characters, Starscream, you could either cast Tom Kenny or Steve Bloom, I don't care which one. Shockwave, I guess David Sobolov again? I don't know. Megatron, I don't know. But, yeah, conclusion. So you may have noticed I didn't actually pitch any real ideas other than Hot Rod having a big focus, but that's because planning out an entire Transformers cartoon, that would be hard. Because at the end of the day, what I want, well, the details would definitely be very important. What I want overall is just something more like how we used to get. I don't want any of this. Megatron is a good guy now, and no. And is Starscream becoming a main villain for a while cool like it was in Cyberverse? Yes. But they've done it 3 times now. Can we just go back to the days of Optimus Prime versus Megatron? We're getting that in Transformers 1. I mean, is that too much to ask for? Really? So, that's all for now. Comment down below what you thought of this, because I really enjoyed making this one. I've gotta talk about Transformers again sometime. That's all for now, and as always, keep on juicing!